Those that will judge will say you're aloof, but you know the truth is a seed. You know what you need is a conflagration. 'Cause when I see the blood and the bits of your broken tooth, it gives me the proof that I need. It's a proof that you bleed. It's a revelation. Yeah, it's a revelation. It's a revelation. Thought you were a life-size paper doll, propped up in the hardware store, propped up on the front lawn, watching the parade of those legionnaires with 2x4s as they're marching off to war. Yeah, they're marching off to war. I didn't know what you were made of, color of your blood, what you're afraid of. Are you made of calcium or are you carbon-based? And if you're made of calcium, I'll have to take a taste. 'Cause listen, calcium is deadly, tender to the tooth, and it's one surefire way to know if you're MX missile proof. Oh no, or if you're just a loose. You were in the ground in late November, when the leaves and earth were down. Did you think they would remember how you almost made state champ? 'Cause when you're running for the game against Alphonsus, and you fell upon the ground and chipped your tooth. Oh, now listen, not really half surprised us to learn that you weren't really MX missile proof. Oh, I thought you were a life-size paper doll, and you propped up in a hardware store. You were propped up on the front lawn, watching the parade of those legionnaires with 2x4s as they're marching off to war. Yeah, they're marching off to war. Oh, the marching. Fandango, tango, angle, bang, and it keeps things curious. Oh, but it makes folks furious. All it does, it takes 2 parts tango and a little tingle, tango, tang, put 'em on and two orangutans like me and you. I used to think that you were a tomboy, had like a bird's nest, close so shoddy. Then I found you were a bomboy, not no blessed phone in your body. So down, mess around with my temper and go bam, bit mama. Have start to a little less that rang bang and perhaps some tango. I've got a newfound fangled fandangled chango and a bang, and it keeps things curious, oh, but it makes folks furious. It takes two bob tango and a little tingle tangle 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 ting ting and two orangutans like me and you. I used to think that you were a tomboy, head like a bird's nest, so shouty. Then I found you are on board, and I know blessed bone in your body. So down, mess around with my stem around thing. Everybody's in touch, you live less that rang bang. Oh, don't mess around with my stem around thing. Everybody's in touch, you live less than rang bang.
Alright, here we go. No one's here, but that's okay. Ooh. Am I even here? Oh, jeez. Come down. Nice shorts. Manual. Pattern 4. Context backlash. General wear on the gestural gear mounting apparatus. Oh. 5A1 may result in undesirable play between teeth in the context and history state machine gears, causing stuttering, slippage, resetting, skippage. It looks like you should have a surfer dude accent, but I don't know. Guess it could be slippage. If left unresolved, gear slop can gradually throw limbs out of alignment, blend motions, and decontextualize gestures. See also sections 1.8, General Troubleshooting, and 5.3, Gesture Context. Gesture Context. I guess I can get it. 5.3, Gesture Context. All gestures happen in a context. Wow, thank you. The set of preceding gestures, the overall orientation, and extended variables such as time of day and interior affect gear angles. That'll do, book. That'll do. Throws the manual into the river. My savior, our friend here is in a bad way. Any insight? Oh, it's Junebug again. I try to steer clear of high voltage these days. I don't blame you, especially down here on the water. I mean, sure, it's dangerous, but this is where she lives. What brings you down to the Echo tonight? I always end up here eventually. The river's like that. It always has been. We picked you up at the Bureau tonight. Never seen you that far upriver before. Hope that doesn't mean you've been traveling on the Zero. Yeah, have you been there, the Zero? Oh no, not me. This old river rat steers clear of weird highways. Oh, he's an old surfer. I've been traveling this river for more than half my life, more or less alone. I think I've seen it change quite a bit in all those years, but I can't say for sure. The water has a peculiar way of making a person forgetful. Some nights I remember a place, but it's full of strange new people, and some nights I meet an old friend on an unfamiliar shore. I wonder which kind of night this is. I don't know, Will. Which kind of night is it? Act 4, Scene 1. The Mucky Mammoth. Well. Who's Kate? Let's meet Kate. Nice hair, Kate. How's that cold river spray treating you? I thought I saw you squinting. It's hard water, you know, hard on the eyes. It still irritates mine a little, and I'm piloting a tugboat through it 6 nights a week. Don't be too shy to close them in public. Your eyes, I mean. People will just assume you're thoughtful. You need tea. Let's mix up some slippery elm, instant coffee, and dried spring agaricus. Just add swamp snake, and that'd be a love potion. I'm teasing. Or am I? How far are we from Dogwood Drive? The Echo is dicey tonight. Bad luck for you. Expect waves and diversions. Dogwood Drive is by the Silo mail stop, but we may need to spend some time on the indirect route before we hit your stop, okay? And there's other business. Mail to drop off, garbage to pick up, and a few favors to execute, all dotted on the riverbanks from here to there. I hope you enjoy the trip on our little Mammoth. Take advantage of all the amenities: fresh air, cozy bunks, hot tea, the video room. There's some pretty interesting tapes down there, actually. Unusual. I mean, weird. Watch out for the VCR. It doesn't take your hand off, though. It's untrustworthy. What's wrong with the VCR? I could take a look. Oh, please do. I don't know anything about electronics. Maybe try a few different tapes. You'll get the picture. Hey, do me a favor. Go ask Will how the repairs are going and if he needs anything. We're coming up on the next stop here, just refueling and picking up a few things. I could grab a bolt or wire or something, whatever he needs. Well, eyes on the road, haha. Okay. Fine. I like your dog. Can I have that mammoth, please? Please? Can I have it? Let's see. Early on Golden Whiskey Band. Oh. Wet gears. Did you build this thing? Ha! No, this thing's probably older than I am. Got some gray in her belt. They're calcium deposits, I guess. To be honest with you, I'm not really qualified for this work. Kate's a friend. You know how it is, don't you? What's your story, Will? A story? Well, I like to listen to them. I like to tell them, but I don't have one of my own. I also don't have a permanent address or a pickup truck or any change of clothes. I wash my laundry in the river, and in that moment, I'm truly free. I don't even have any shoes. Hey, I should tell you where I left my shoes. Did you know I'm a classically trained organist? It's true. Look at these long fingers and pedal-gripping toes. It doesn't matter. A minor in French literature earned me a position teaching Artaud to Zola at the university. Well, some shitty governor cut state funding for our department, and I was demoted to mopping floors, running wiring through walls or in dangerous places. I even operated the soundboard at the student theater. I left my shoes there at the university. It was a protest. Walk without shoes for something important or tragic. I ended up by the shore, and soon I was drifting along the Echo. It ran for a while above ground then. It doesn't anymore, but I prefer subterranean waters anyway. Kate brings me along, and I record what I see and hear. I try to help with maintenance. I drop off the mail and pick up the trash. On occasion, I take the helm. Anyway, that's all I try to remember anymore. I listen to the river stories, and my own stories get fainter and fainter. Well, I'll just keep drawing gears, I guess. Okay. Ezra runs up to Shannon. Whoa, slow down. It's slippery up on deck. Do you have batteries? Yeah, of course. What for? Johnny said I could use his tape recorder, but it needed a battery. Oh, fun. Well, Shannon searches her pockets. Here's 4 different kinds. Surely one of these should fit. Thank you. Okay, but did you need anything from the fucking store, Will? Oh, no, I'm messing. Fine. You got your batteries, small man? And go get you some tape. Oh, okay. Where? Can I go talk to Kate? Where am I supposed to get tape, man? What do you want from me? Come on. Swing around. Oh, there's Blip. Up there. Oh. To Kate, I guess. And it's Shannon. Fine. I guess we'll go in there. Really? You were in trance. You don't remember this? Oh, shit. It's okay. We've all seen a lot of concerts. Cyrano opened. His tape machine was broken or something. It got really cosmic. Right, at the flower shop. I remember that show. Sorry, Clara. Well, you have a second chance to hear it tonight. That was fast. Got the batteries? Let's see. Perfect. This one will do. So, you hit this button here to record. Hold it right here so you don't cover the microphone with your hand. I bet you'll find a lot of good sounds just around the tugboat. There's plenty of tape in there, so don't be stingy with it. Just record anything that catches your ear. It really changes the way you listen. For the better, I mean. Are you playing a concert tonight? I could record that. Yeah, Clara here came all the way from Lithuania just to do this Echo River gig. Well, I definitely don't know how to do a Lithuanian accent, so... Haha, it's a tour. Tomorrow I'll be in Nashville, and then Atlanta, and then over to the coast. Brutal. Well, we're lucky she's making a stop. Johnny and I saw her play once, and I remember loving it. And Johnny was moved. Speaking of Cyrano, it's his night at the Rum Colony. Kate said she usually stops off there. Well, that's ideal. I'm supposed to meet a lady there to look at some old engine parts about 3 hours ago. 3 hours goes fast at the Rum Colony, ma'am. I bet she's still there. I hope we don't stop there too long. My concert is soon. I don't want to keep them waiting. Nah, it's river time. Nobody expects you to be punctual. Hey, why don't you give that tape recorder a try? See if that cat over there has anything he wants to say. I often use found sounds in my music. If you find some interesting sounds tonight, you can help me out. I want to know if the cat has anything he wants to say. Come here, cat. Conway. What happened to your arm, Conway? When did you get a shiny skeleton arm? Oh, wait, but did he have something he wanted to say? I was too busy looking at Conway's new arm. Damn it, Conway. You know, it's the strangest thing. I can't remember why I came up here. Neither can I. Ha ha. Damn noisy river. It's just that thing about, what was it, when you walk through a door? When you go into the kitchen for something, and as soon as you pass from one room into another, you forget what you wanted. You have to walk back out just to remember it, like you left a part of your brain behind. Hey, I wonder if we could follow that brain crumb trail all the way back to the room I was born in. Conway cranes his neck over the railing. You were driving for hours. Get any sleep? I had a weird dream. Yeah, that's when you get the strangest dreams. When you nod off, right? You just kind of dip your toes into sleep and some weird image floats by and takes a nibble. Shannon leans over the railing and looks at the river below. It does look cold, doesn't it? Yeah, better keep that kid away from the edge. A person could easily fall in. He's been exploring. Foreshadowing? Should I be worried? I'm fine. I was talking about Ezra. It's good for him. It's important to know how to be alone. What's up, huh? You look like there's something you want to ask. Fine, you can ask it. One question. I thought you didn't drink. Well, I didn't. I mean, I did, and then I didn't, and then I did again. That's how it always goes. I drift out, finally wind up back at Lizette's with my head between my legs, saying never again. 15 months this last time. I think I hung on because I knew there wouldn't for much longer be anywhere to go back to. She went to live with her sister now, and she probably won't remember me for long anyway. One time she picked me up out of a ditch by the road, blackout drunk at dawn. I came around later that night. She'd taken care of me. I told her I didn't deserve it, and she said I didn't have to deserve it. She sounds like a saint. We should all have someone like that. Oh, you wouldn't say that if you knew her when she was younger. That girl was wild. I guess she's got her own problems now. I wish I could help out. Hey, maybe I could make some money and send it to her sister? Maybe they'll keep me on at the distillery. I mean, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. I've got to repay my debt. Hell, I should be grateful for the opportunity. If you want to die with any dignity, you've got to settle up. That's why it's such a damned shame when people go sudden. Am I controlling this in any way? No. Not as of yet. I'm sure I talk too much. Everyone on this river does. The only problem is that we listen twice as much as that. We're only telling you half of the stories we hear. Kate told me that I ought to have been a photographer. She said, "You have an uncanny way of having been in the place at the time the thing happened there, and that's the hardest part of taking a photograph anyway." Nice of her to say, but it isn't true. Though I know just about every story on this river. Most of them I've picked up second, third, or fourth hand, and so on. Listening, see? Now, I know what you're going to ask, so I'm going to answer it. Yes, I'm sure they're all true. I personally believe a story gets more true as it's tossed around from brain to brain and the whole community brings their insight to bear on the brittle facts of experience. There are a few Echo River stories I witnessed directly. I saw that big owl migration pass through. You might have heard about that. I was there when the old train station flooded. I saw the ghost of Stephen Bishop brew up a batch of white lightning on a raft. Or anyway, I talked to a few sailors who'd recently crossed paths with him and, I suspect, sampled his wares. One night, when I was working on the Mucky Mammoth, we picked up a gaggle of passengers headed down to a mail drop by the silo of Late Reflections. I'm sure this is Will, but I don't feel like doing the voice. I knew a couple of them in passing, a pair of traveling musicians whom I often encountered on the river. The others were strangers to me at the time, a young woman, a small boy, and an old man whose name I didn't catch. Oh, and a smelly old dog. We docked at a gas station so the Mammoth could refuel. Ezra stayed on the tugboat, and I looked around the map room, or Ezra followed Junebug and Johnny into the gas station. I don't want him on the tugboat by himself. After all the foreshadowing of him falling into the frickin' Act 4, Scene 2. A gas station. We cut it. Hello, Lucky. We cut it close. I usually find this place upriver. Everybody's on the lake tonight. The gas station moves around? Sure, it's not anchored or anything. Could be anywhere up and down the Echo. You just kind of run into it when you need it, or hopefully a little before you need it. I usually stop here once a night, though. To be honest, I'm not sure it's even the same one. Doesn't have a name or anything, and I never really pay attention to who's behind the counter. Anyway, it's nice to see you two. Most of my regular passengers must have gotten held up somewhere in their journey tonight. It's that storm, I think. Watching Ezra sprint past. Look at him go. That kid has a lot of energy. It's got to be past his bedtime or something, right? I don't think he has a bedtime. He's a maverick. Sounds familiar. You don't have any of your own. I mean, no, I guess not. I just realized you two come through here so often. We chat about all kinds of stuff, but I never thought to ask about family. Who has the time? Yeah, sure, you've got to prioritize. So, how about that storm upstairs? Did you two get caught in it? I heard it kind of roamed around, uncertain. I'm sure we'll hear all about it tomorrow. Flooding, property damage, probably killed a few tomatoes. It's got the river churning and everyone headed to the lake here where the water's calmer. I myself don't mind navigating a choppy river, not at all. I've got a good feel for it. Plus, it's better for fungal growth. High water consumes the cave moss, and their wet wings clump together into these little balls of nutrient-dense mushroom food, jammed by current here and there between the rocks. You have never seen a mushroom grow like on a soggy cave moth carcass. Amazing. If I could get a day off, Val and I would be out there all day tomorrow to harvest. I mean it. They'll be ready by tomorrow. A mushroom will grow just as fast as you can pump water into it. Hey, are you two headed out this way tomorrow? Maybe I could send Val ashore with you for a few hours. She's got a remarkable nose for mushrooms. You wouldn't even need to know what to look for. Put a bag around her neck and she'll just bring them back to you. Yeah. No room on a bike for a dog, Cricket. She could curl up in the sidecar. I'll sit on my legs. What? So, I should get back aboard. No rush. I just want to brew some tea before we get underway. Headed into the station? Thought I'd grab some black coffee for the old man. He's looking a bit waterlogged. Sure, don't want him falling asleep on you. Oh. Nah, he'll be alright. He seems like the type who can hold his liquor. Seems like he has a little experience, I mean. Hey, while you're in there, could you remind the gas station attendant this fuel is on my tab? Charged to the Mucky Mammoth. Oh, and Will wanted a scratch ticket. Thanks. I think I'll just watch the lake for a bit, ma'am. Okay. Into the gas station. What do you think of that other dog we've got on board, Val? Blue came along with that old man drinking up all your beer. He's alright, though. So, could you fit in the sidecar? If I rode with one knee draped over the side, you could sit next to me? I'd hold you tight, I promise it'd be safe. Maybe we can still talk her into it. Oh, Johnny. I don't think it's gonna happen, man. Looking for crystals? Jesus. Why do you assume I'm looking for crystals? We've got them on sale. All kind of folks come in here looking for crystals. There's a few over there with milky white shocks through the middle, like you caught a piece of cloud. People seem to like those a lot. Yep. Popular crystals. You work on the Mammoth? I can add it to your tab. Oh, you know the tugboat? The Captain Kate said I'd have to remind you. Sure, they're here every night. It's okay, I have one of those faces. Forgettable. Does it bother you? I've learned to cherish it. There's dignity in being forgotten, letting the crowd flow around you unspoiled. I used to live in a real city, Cleveland, Ohio. I had some family money then, and I didn't have to work. I lived in hotels. In daylight, I walked wherever the people were. My only duty was to the crowd. I was its observer, its historian, its detective, its poet. Well, the money ran out, and I dispersed with the rest of them. I took my duties with me here to Lake Lethe and the Echo River. I live behind this counter, anonymous, invisible, but I live with dignity. And yourself? No, I don't think so. I don't blend in. And not so easy to forget, I'd say. I see now that you're right. Well, that's yours to bear, then. We keep all the crystals on that shelf over there. Buy one, get one free, of equal or lesser symmetry. The crystals are rough, dirty. Some are damp. They must have come out of the river. That attendant is a trip. Letting the crowd flow around you unspoiled, he said. Junebug tries to scrape some green algae off a larger specimen, examining it for the kind of cloudy inner formation the attendant said was so popular. Who knows? Maybe he's onto something. And a few numbers are woven through the algae. Does Johnny ever feel like that? This isn't algae at all. It's a decayed plastic bag caught on the rock. Interesting. Shit. That floodwater washed you halfway up out to sea. I was looking for you down by New Konisberg, same as usual, but ain't nobody there. The river's deep as an elephant's. Noticing Junebug. Oh, didn't see you there, ma'am. Pardon my language. What elephant? Aha, alright, you're no paper flower, I see that. Extending his hand warmly. I expect you must be Loretta. Enchanted to meet you. Sorry I'm late. Hey, is that coming on too flowery or something? Enchanted? Repeating it now, I feel a little silly. Enchanted sounds pretty old-fashioned. Is that the kind of gal Loretta is? I guess I don't know. But now I'm double embarrassed. How do you know Loretta? I really don't. I met Loretta on the computer. We met each other there, or I guess we spoke through the computer and agreed to meet. I don't know the terminology. I hadn't dated in quite a while. Back when I met Greta, that's my wife. Excuse me, my ex. Or maybe I'm her ex? I don't know how to say it. Anyway, back then, there wasn't even such thing as computers at all. I guess there probably was, but I never heard one. I worked in textiles. So here I am. So what's your plan when Loretta shows up? Oh, maybe head down to the rum colony. Shoot, I forgot to ask. She likes to drink. You really never know these days. I guess first I'd ask her about that. If she doesn't like rum, maybe try to take her by the bat sanctuary. That's pretty romantic in a sense. Like Misty Valleys and ruined churches romantic, not like flowers and chocolates romantic. Of course, they got that memorial there. That's a little depressing, actually. Maybe we kind of sail around that? Damn it. Oh, I guess I probably missed her. I wonder if she'll agree to meet me again. I'm sure she'll understand, with the weather and all. Nice of you to say so. Well, I guess I'll head on back. Hey, supposing Loretta doesn't want to see me after all. My card is full. Oh, no, sorry, that's not what I meant. Actually, I wanted to ask you for some advice. I had to type up some sort of autobiography for the computer date, and I spent a lot of time on it, but I only got one reply, and that was Loretta herself. I was happy to meet her, but supposing she's lost interest now. Do you think you could maybe give me some feedback? It's only a paragraph or so. I have it all memorized. I spent so damn long writing it. Okay, here's how it goes. I'm a good-natured man, retired. Spend most of my time sailing the Echo River, riding currents of subterranean gas and that strange invisible wind that moans out of the small tunnels along the bank. Seeking a companion to map the river with me. I have 2 grown children, but they live far away. No goofballs. Okay, what do you think? What was that about goofballs? Like serious inquiries only. You might miss out on some really great goofballs. You may be right about that. Why mention your children? Oh, I figured it'll come up somehow. I don't know how people feel about dating with kids. Like I said, it's been a while. Are you embarrassed? Maybe I'm afraid it overstates my age a little. Okay. Think about the wind is a little much. Yeah, you're probably right. I wanted to show my poetic side. I'll save that for the date. Alright, thanks for your help, ma'am. You give me a lot to think about. I'm ready to go back on that computer. You have a good night now. What's left of it, anyway. Bye, Norm. Have fun. Is there anything else in here? No? Okay. Good luck, Norm. What's that? It's a crystal. I bought it for you. Wow, thank you, ma'am. Hey, could you hold on to it for a minute? I'm gonna look around inside. Wish me luck. Good luck. Okay. Big plans for the night? Us, I think we'll just see where the river goes and at what pace. No sense rushing it, right? You can't rush the river. Hey man, how's your night? Quiet. Where are you headed? Just following Junebug. She was in here a minute ago. Okay, yeah, I had a feeling you two might be traveling together. I never travel, but I do love travelers. That's what I like about this job. The travelers come to me. Do you live nearby? I live here. There's a cot in the back. Nobody ever notices it. Not that I do much sleeping, really, but sometimes I lay on it anyway, just to keep it in shape. Well, let me know if I can help you find anything. Ow. Oh, Glory, it is good to be among friends. Suit yourself. What are you so excited about? I can't help it. Every time I step on that boat alone, I think this could be the very last time. And then every time I come ashore back among people, I think, solemnly, Glory, it is good to be among friends. Helps to keep things in perspective, I guess. Hi, Lazy. It's all a ritual of remembrance for me, tonight particularly so. It's my birthday. I am 5 years... Dude, you're like frickin'... I can see you in there. You're a grown man. I see you. I am 5 years old. Do you know why I say that? Well, I'm not gonna tell you. 5 years and some days ago, I set out on the Echo River alone, or so I thought at the time. I was looking for an ice floe. They're occasionally rumored to travel our humble artery on their own from who knows where to who knows where. Who knows why? It's a mystery. An hour into the journey, my lantern gave out. Now, I always carry 3 or 4 spares. You'll never catch me in the dark again. Lesson learned, buddy. But that night, when the lantern went out, I was stuck in the dark. I kept my arm extended, running my fingers along the cave wall, trying to keep my bearing as best I could and at least make sure I wasn't going in circles. I just prayed I'd find another traveler who knew his way back to the lake or above ground or even just a crack in the rock to get a glimpse of the moonlight. I had a large bag of apples with me. After a long while, maybe a day, I was getting weak, so I took my hand down from the rock to tear the bag open. Well, when I reached back out, I couldn't find that cave wall anymore, or any other. I was totally unmoored, buddy, totally adrift. And it was so dark. I started counting time and apples eaten. I drifted into despair for 4 apples. Then I schemed and planned and dreamed for 2 apples. Finally, I came to accept my fate, lost at sea, and this phase I think would have continued indefinitely had I not come down to that very last damn apple. Picture me, feeling around in the empty bag, certain that somehow there was another one of those fist-sized chunks of life-giving fruit, already softened by time and probably an unappetizing brown. Nope, that was it. Just as I was about to bite into my last meal, I felt a tickle on my upper lip. It hatched right then. Couldn't have been a moment later I would have eaten it. My last apple was infested by a damn fruit fly maggot. Well, that should have been the end of it. I should have eaten that apple and that fly while I was at it and put an end to our little food chain suicide pact, but I waited. Out of mercy. After all, this fly was basically a newborn child, right? A gross insect child, but still a child, right? Born into darkness and famine, hungry and alone. I mean, can you imagine that? No other flies out there on the boat, and never would be. No other flies to welcome him into the world. I mean, no fly culture, no fly society, no fly history. A true orphan. I started to get depressed just thinking about it all. Worked out a thick tear, I'm not ashamed to say. Well, that fly landed on my cheek, right under my left eye, right on that salty teardrop, and then, blind in glory, his ass lit up like a candle. That wasn't a fly, buddy. That was a damn lightning bug. So that's how I come here today with you folks, only because I found my way out of that strange river cave by the dim-lit rear of some orphan insect hatched out of my last rotten apple. Lori, it is good to be among friends. That was a damn. Oh, this game. Beautiful. That guy's a trip. That gas station attendant. Did you talk to him? It's funny. He actually reminds me of that frog we had for a bit. The frog you had. Aw, I like to think he was part of the family, you know? He seemed more like a cat to me, the attendant, I mean. Oh yeah, I can see that too. Aloof, but strangely chatty. Maybe we should pick up another one. A frog, or a cat, or an iguana. Ooh, purple horse. Feeling lonely, Cricket? Not exactly. Not like that guy in the gas station. That guy lets the world wash over him, static like a rock. But you and me both together, I mean, we're always moving, always changing. I think it's because we feel safe with each other, you know? Free. We can try stuff out. Change our clothes, swap parts around, just play. Wow, that's some information there. I'm not lonely, just curious, with another person to play with. What else could we be? Is the gas station in the middle of the lake the place for this conversation? We can keep it in mind. Let's not rush into anything. Yeah, you're right about that, ma'am. No rush. Oh, that's Kate. Time to hit the road. River, I mean. See that small brick building? It used to be an upholstery shop. Now it's inhabited by a very skilled taxidermist whose art is greatly in demand. But when it was an upholstery shop, why can't I say that word? When it was an upholstery shop, it didn't see nearly as much business. The old shop's name has been lost to time and weather. This was decades ago, and the only trace of it now is the grayed frame of an old sign behind the new lettering, which now reads Trapper, Stalker, and Sportsman, and then below, smaller, no specimens, too exotic, no arrangement, too fanciful. Some of the upholstery equipment is still there, too, and still sees active use. Elise is the resident artist, though she's not the owner of the shop. It's owned by a reclusive ex-convict named Judah. Very little is known about him. His crime is generally assumed to be violent or otherwise gruesome in some detail, though of course that's all speculation and probably comes from his association with the taxidermy business, even though he never so much as skins a squirrel. He's more like a silent partner. I guess those are the ones you're supposed to keep an eye on. But Judah is old and keeps to himself, and the consensus seems to be that he's paid his debt to society, whatever that debt may have been. I want to see the video collection. Shannon retreated to the TV room to browse the Mammoth's video collection. Act 4, Scene 3. The Mucky Mammoth. Oh, I don't get to see the video collection? Fine. The shelves are full of dusty tapes. Some have been relabeled several times, the stickers piling up thick on their spines. Birds. What are birds? We just don't know. Blue-black morning swings across the screen. The birdwatcher tramps through dewy grass. He stops with a wet grunt and rests the camera on a pile of rocks. Birds from great distances, episode 12, appears briefly on the screen. He twists the lens by hand, pushing the frame past trees, onto the road, and coming to a halt, zoomed in on a fuzzy, fist-sized artifact resting on the momentary stroke of a telephone wire. Shannon and the birdwatcher observe. He breathes heavily, and she holds her breath, like she's afraid he might hear, afraid of distracting him or of being discovered and contaminating his perfect isolation. Traffic picks up, indifferent. As the sky lightens, the black smudge in the center of the frame gradually becomes more prominent, but never in any greater detail. Dumbhead. Oh, I'll be right back. Just a second. I was like, why do I hear everyone? And it's because Biggles is hosting Tater and I still had the tab up on my laptop. I was like, why do I hear Owen? But now I understand. Alright. The shelves are full of dusty tapes since funeral thing. Let's go. An elderly couple sit on folding chairs in the middle of a TV studio, undecorated except for a funeral lily in a thin blue vase on the table. The lights are a bit too dim to make out their features. She reads from a newspaper with unhurried efficiency. Gloria B. of Munfordville passed away on Monday at her residence. Survivors include her children, Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, and Bobby, all of Munfordville. A memorial service will be held at 7 p.m. Thursday at Hatton Huffman Funeral Home in Munfordville, with cremation to follow. She never knew Gloria. He thinks he may have heard the name, wondering aloud if she ever worked at a cafe down there in Munfordville. The woman who ran that place was once called Gloria, or maybe still is. They take a call. Someone who knew Gloria B., if not very well. The caller once installed a satellite dish at Gloria's house, a 900-square-foot ranch-style home on 2 acres at a dead end, backed by weeds and pine. When the caller mounted the ladder up to Gloria's roof, she slid open her window and tugged urgently at his pant leg. He followed her gaze behind the house to 2 wild turkeys picking through the weeds. Gloria and the caller watched, silent and still, as the huge birds foraged obliviously into the trees. Then he installed the satellite dish. Sad. More birds. All the birds. Birds forever. It's raining heavily as the title Birds from Great Distances, Episode 27, flashes on screen. She knows by the sound, the volley of rainwater on mud, tree branches, the rusted bed of an old pickup, and on the birdwatcher's own skin and hair. He swears under his breath. She can hear the rain there too, in his wet breath and the wet exclamation of his palm slopping the water from his forehead and shoulders. The camera is pointed at a cedar shed with one hinged door angling erratically in the storm. From this distance, it's hard to tell if it's been damaged or simply left open. When the door swings wide, she can see the shed is full of small boards, scraps maybe, or rough cut pieces meant for very small projects and then stacked carelessly on shelves, in piles, quickly sorted and then forgotten. And there's the bird, a small ball taking shelter on the shed floor, nested in scrap wood. The shelves are full of dusty tapes. Some have been relabeled several times, the stickers piling up thick on their spines. Question, question, question. That awful hum. It seems to start before Shannon even hits play. Then there's the familiar room. There are the blank gray walls marked with tape, and school desks, and this time she notices a few more details. The murky carpet like standing water, some video equipment stashed in the corner, a row of lockers. And there's Weaver, looking serenely at the camera. As before, she starts speaking, and as before, there's no sound but that hum. Shannon finds Weaver's words coming back to her as they appear in captions on the screen. Mail, school, and these magnificent tragic horses. Go underground, as deep as you can go. The air is cool, the earth is damp, and when you close your eyes, they are surrounded by the dead. You are surrounded by the dead. Remember where that is? You'll find your way from there. I think this place is what you're looking for. Some of it will wash away soon, but I think you'll be happy here. Even without the mail, school. The text repeats itself for a few minutes, and Shannon stops the tape. No, I want to watch the others. I don't care that we've reached the plot point that was going to happen. I'm here for the weird videos. We're going through them all, man. Art thing. First, she thinks the video might be paused, but on closer inspection, she can see the edges of the frame shrinking inwards around the chairs, desk, and loose gray furniture of a sterile waiting room. She watches for a while. She's not sure for how long, several minutes. The zoom tightens, so gradually she sometimes forgets it's happening at all, and finally rests on an oscillating desk fan. She ejects the tape before the next part of the triptych begins. What, Shannon, you aren't into weird art? Fan focusing? What? Is that the last one I get to watch? Okay, no. Has it said that every time and I just never noticed? Trivia thing. The words "tip of your tongue" and a phone number are occasionally superimposed on the screen. A few dozen people sit in bleachers, shouting out ideas, loosely moderated by a short woman with a microphone and laser pointer. One caller is trying to remember the name of an old friend she hasn't seen in years. It starts with a consonant. It's full of consonants, actually. There are maybe one or two vowels. It sounds long, but she doesn't remember having had any trouble spelling it at any point. The friend had brown hair? That's probably not helpful. Another caller is trying to remember a verb that means to make oneself vulnerable. Something like to expose oneself, but not quite that. To become emotionally, spiritually vulnerable. Like with a lover or a poem. A third caller just knows there was something he was supposed to do tonight. He offers some biographical background, a narrative of his day. He's unemployed, has no real hobbies, and has already eaten. Few ideas from the bleachers. Lordy. We'll end with birds and do weather first. The on-screen title identifies this program as The History of Weather, Volume 3, Drought. Over footage of a dry riverbed, the program's narrator explains the differences between modern drought and ancient drought. The narrator proposes that modern drought may hardly be considered weather at all, since its severity and behavior are so influenced by human activity. Wow, she's not into the weather. Okay, and I'm assuming... Oh, there's a new one. We're actually never going to leave this room. I'm going to stream this for the next 5 hours. The video is black. Shannon only knows it's playing because of the cicadas, and then Birds from Great Distances, episode 81. The screen isn't totally dark, of course. It's what she thinks of as video black, a deep, mottled blue, noisy with magnetic decay and the cottony limits of the camera's sensors. It's the black she sees before she goes to sleep, the night black, the eyes shut against streetlights black. She has more words for it than she expected. She wonders what words the birdwatcher uses for it. She wonders where he is relative to the camera, or where the bird is, for that matter. Enough? It's never enough, Shannon. It's never enough. Surely this will be the last one. Okay. We may soon be free. It looks like Will, though much younger, reclined on a sofa and taking calls. His arm, draped over the back of the couch, holds a bottle of something clear. People call in with stories of their encounters with the supernatural. Will offers little commentary or response. He acknowledges them. Sometimes he interrupts to clarify or repeat something back to them. Mostly he just listens and pulls from that clear glass bottle. A handmade banner strung above the couch reads, "I believe you." This guy, he and Fox Mulder should have a chat. Oh, is there another one? Surely it just says she steps away. Oh my god, there's more. We thought we were free, but we were not. A woman sits at a card table with a lamp, notepad, and a beige multi-line telephone. A scrolling marquee reads, "Swap, shop, buy, sell, trade, or want to buy, call the broker." And then a phone number, repeating without pause. Eddie has fresh eggs to trade for a basil plant, a dozen eggs for one plant, which is a steal. Eddie's eggs are good eggs. Sadie has a bag of fine shells. No reasonable offer will be refused. Christopher is looking for a scrub plane in decent shape. It doesn't have to be too nice, just something to get a tabletop near to flat from some oak that's been air drying in a barn for 20, maybe 30 years. And while it's true he could get the job done without it since he's got a nice heavy jack plane his grandfather used to use, he'd just as soon not fuss with grinding a camber onto it. And anyway, he has a little extra capital from a swap earlier in the week and wouldn't mind putting it down on a decent scrub plane before the cash burns a hole through his pocket. Carla is looking to trade typing services for calligraphy services, or vice versa. The broker takes notes and switches lines but never speaks, drunk on the hum of commerce. She's getting her squats in too, putting this many videos in. Is there seriously going to be another one? Okay. You're not gonna say hi to the cat? Come on, Shannon. No, no, it was only a few notes, slow and sad, like funeral music, you know? I don't remember it being sad, just simple and unburdened. Maybe that's what funeral music sounds like to me, unburdened. Oh, hello. Kate and I were just trying to remember the Mammoth song. But neither of us have heard it for years. Will just found the mechanism. In the mammoth's belly, hidden in gritty, matted fur, it's like a big music box, a slowly spinning cylinder covered in metal pens that pluck her dulcet guts and pump the bellows in her bowels. But some of the pins are rusted and worn away, easy to replace if we can ever remember what the notes were. Did I hear you browsing the archive next door? Find anything good? I found something pretty unsettling, actually. Oh dear, I don't even know what's on half of those tapes anymore. They used to all be movies and that kind of stuff. I like nature documentaries especially. Some people left home movies or little art videos they'd made, but that damn VCR devours anything you leave in it. It just switches into record mode at random, I think, and picks up whatever's coming in over the antenna. Of course, the only station we get here is that WEVP, community television, you know? They got that show with the gentleman playing the banjo in his birthday suit? I'm sure you've seen it. Oh, yeah. And if there's no tape in the machine when it tries to start recording, it makes this awful sound like putting a squeaky toy in a food processor. I can hear it above deck. Awful. That's why I put the sign up, please do not rewind after watching. At least that way nothing gets taped over anymore. You were in one of the videos. I believe you, it said. Where was that taped? You had a TV show? I never knew. No, I don't believe I ever have. The title sounds familiar, but more like it's something I heard about, like secondhand information. They let anybody on there. That's the whole idea. Community television, or public access, they call it. I would say it's possible that I did the show you saw and then forgot. Wouldn't be the first time. The studio... No, I can't say that I remember where WEVP is. Sorry. You should meet Dashiell. He did a lot of volunteer work for WEVP in the early days, wiring up antennas and replays, stuff like that. I think you two would have a lot to talk about. He works at the telephone exchange. No, I'm afraid he's been let go. Oh yeah? That's odd. He still takes the ferry to work every day. I'm sure he's at the telephone exchange right now. In fact, I dropped him there a few hours ago. We're stopping at the telephone exchange again shortly to deliver the mail and pick up their trash. You should go ashore when we do. Ask for Dashiell. I rarely miss a chance to lounge on the beach around the rum colony, and I do enjoy a drink, though I don't find their signature liquor suits me. But this time I elected to stay aboard and shoot the breeze with Kate over some mineral water. Still, I heard reports. Ezra told me about the dark corners. See, that beach is lit by a congregation of amber torches stuck in the sand. They mix the torch fuel with citronella oil. It keeps the bugs away, which keeps the bats away, but the light doesn't fall very far from the flame. The rest is shadows and sandy echoes, and that's the part Ezra wanted to tell me about. He said he found a treasure. I knew better than to pry. Well, damn it, Will, pry. Oh, if we're talking about the rum colony, I should tell you about Patch. He's the bartender, general manager, creative director. I guess that means he books the music. He's pretty much run the place for the last 7 years. A lot of folks assume he owns it, but that is not the case. The rum colony is owned by a dead man named Vernon. Technically, it would be owned by the power company, who once bought a sizable interest from Vernon as part of a state-sponsored investment program, but a clause in that arrangement requires them to keep their hands off the day-to-day, and most the profits, so long as Vernon walks this earth. The upshot of all this is that nobody came forth to identify the body. Patch is a good guy, though, kind, trustworthy, and he mixes a strong Mai Tai, if that's your thing. I want to know what the dogs are doing. Valkyrie and Blue lounged below deck. Act 4. Scene. Are you guys making friends? Is this fun? Are you having dog fun? You sure those are some intense gazes there, you two? While those two gentle beasts kept things under control aboard the Mucky Mammoth, I went ashore with the rest of the crew to make use of a public telephone. I called into my answering machine, which I routinely neglect for intervals of months to chip away at the pile. Kate checked in on a client of hers. She's a birth doula, in addition to being a tugboat captain. Did you know that? I knew a doula in real life. Clara talked to her sister in Lithuanian. Illness in the family, I gather. Anyway, the evening hit a low point not much later on, so let's take a quiet moment here to listen to the river and reflect on the unburdened sleep of dogs. Yes, let's. The unburdened sleep of dogs. Jen and Ezra, the old man, and I stopped at the Radovansky Center to make some quick cash. Guess we should get off the boat at some point. Act 4, Scene 5. The Radvansky Center. It's putting an extra A. I'm sorry. Oh. Interesting. Oh, am I supposed to do something? No? Okay. Good morning. Bags isn't feeling well. Long night. Poor kitty. What are you watching? Who are you, Mimi and Jen? Security tape from last night. Okay. Daryl left the lights on again. Should we slash his tires? I'll leave a stern note on his desk. Spare the rod. What are we doing today? Right, this is weird. You know that old vending machine? The one that only has tomato juice? No, the old one they just stopped refilling. Remember, we rolled it out onto the dock last August and some scavengers stripped it for metal in the middle of the night? Daryl cut his hand cleaning up after them and it got infected, remember? No. Okay, anyway, the rest of it ended up in the coat room until finally Daryl was piling it into a big bag for the trash barge to pick up and he came across this box lost behind all the junk. Check it out. This looks old. Yeah, there's a bunch of videotapes and completed questionnaires. I looked up the reference number, and it's never been processed. So I guess it's what we're doing today. There's no date on it. We'll just have to make one up, unless there's some footage of a calendar or something in here. Flipping through the questionnaire. I guess these are the old tests before we started doing the video exit interviews. That's annoying. Yeah, let's see. How do we do this? I'll run the tape. You interpret the questionnaire, and I'll type it up? There should be some basic information in the first control test. Subject's general disposition? Jen looks over the questionnaire document from the envelope. Why are you here? The other passengers said we could make some quick cash taking these tests. Pragmatic. Demographic category? Question. What's the first thing you remember? I remember a birdcage. Mid-20s. Do you think we should use the old categories or the new categories? Oh, right. Will the computer even still take the old ones? They're still in the menu. Okay, in that case, put in precarious. Sure. Oh, I forgot. Name? It says Marquez on the file. Whoa, Marquez? Are you sure? That's what it says. Do you know her? That can't be... No, that's not her. Did she come alone or with a group? I don't know. There's an extended monitoring tape here, too. We could check on the dock when she showed up. Yes, but are you after Weaver or Shannon? Oh, it's... Wait, who is that? That guy in the hoodie. What? I've never seen him before. Really? He looks so damn familiar. I thought maybe he was a former intern or something. He's a little old for that, right? No, I don't recognize him. Sorry, you're all deja vu this morning. It's spooky. Sorry, just one of those days, I guess. No, definitely not. Oh, she's traveling with one of those creepy distillery guys. Him? Nah, he just looks like some old drifter. Maybe you're right, it's hard to tell in this light. Seriously, when did his arm turn skeleton-y? When did it happen? I guess the old man is on dinghy guard duty. A noble assignment. So, who is this lady? Oh, right. Well, do you remember WEVP TV? No. Okay, it was a community television station. The Consolidated Power Company had to fund it as, like, a punishment for owning too much of the broadcast spectrum or something. Oh, they used to screen your videos, right? Yeah, it was like a co-op. I did some maintenance, and they gave me a slot to show my work. And they had that naked banjo guy late at night. Yeah, that's mainly what everyone remembers. I guess their whole mandate was community expression. He was certainly expressive. Oh, wait, was WVP the one that... the flood, right? Yeah. Damn. So, Shannon Marquez, did she have a naked banjo show too? What? No. Let me guess. Question. Which of the following sentences best describes you? I don't know whose voice I'm supposed to... Is it still Shannon, I guess? I'm haunted, unable to forget. She had an exercise show? No, I've never heard of Shannon Marquez. It was Weaver Marquez I knew. She worked at the station for a bit, and then she left on kind of weird terms, actually. Anyway, where were we? Okay, how do we rank her from the control test? Without turning around to look, please describe the following objects. Bookshelf. It has 4 shelves. It is shaped like a transformer coil. It reminds me of a library. Question. Poster. I remember it was scientific. I have a poster in my workshop, a vintage advertisement for vacuum tubes. Lighting. Just kind of dim? Average, I guess. Average. Okay. Who is this? Are we not doing the test? Okay, fine. How many pictures did she remember? 2 or actually maybe 3. What? She wrote down orange, strawberry, guava. Guava? I think she meant the pear. See, that's why I hate this test. There's so much fruit that basically looks just like other fruit. Oh, guava. Does a guava even look like a pear, though? I don't think I've ever seen a guava. I thought they were pink. They're just pink on the inside. You wouldn't confuse a real guava for a real pear, but in one of Daryl's crude watercolors... But I can still clearly tell that's a pear, even on video. Yeah, you and I can, but we already know it's a pear. She could be remembering wrong, or just identifying what, to her, is a much more likely fruit to appear in a painting based on any number of cultural, social, geographic, you know... She didn't say anything in her response to help clarify? Let's see. Please describe in detail any sensations that accompany your memory of the pictures. I remember the way the fruit tastes. My mother gave me some mushed up guava once to cure a toothache. Not really, just some sensory memories of guava. I guess we should just skip the pictures. That's a shame. It's really hard to measure memory degradation in some of the later tests without this one as a baseline location updating scenario. I've been saying we should just use photographs. Watercolor paintings already have the quality of a half-remembered dream anyway. Like they're inviting you to forget them, or somebody else already forgot them for you, like a mama bird feeding her chicks cotton candy. Photographs are... It's not that they're really more accurate or true, but we think they are. They put you in that mindset. They have authority. So yeah, out with the watercolors, I say. But then poor Daryl would have nowhere to exhibit his work. Jin makes a noise. Oh, Shannon. What you doing? Oh, kitty. Meow. Jin, look who it is. Aw, I miss that kitty. I forget what became of the white one. Her name was Coconut, and she disappeared without a trace. Easy come, easy go? I wouldn't say easy. I had to leave food on the dock for a week before she'd come inside. She only stuck around for a month or two. You probably saw quite a lot of her. I remember you were working nights then. She was a nocturnal creature. That's right, I remember. I want the cat. I don't care about what's on the desk. Shannon, take the cat. Take it. You're not gonna take it? Oh, look at it. It's looking at us. Okay. Alright, Shannon. Meow. Oh. What did I pick up? Will it let me take the cat now? Yeah. Yeah. Feed that cat. Wait. I don't remember this test. Oh. Did we cut this one? What's the questionnaire like? No, this is just... Sometimes if I can't make it in for a few days, I might leave a note to feed the cats. For the test subjects? Wow. How do you know they'll do it? I write it on, university letterhead. Jen, that is unethical. At least I don't use university property and research equipment to make weird video art. Very well then, I contradict myself. Huh. I wonder which is the nobler transgression. I'll settle that question. It's nobler to feed kitties. I agree. The noblest of all activities is to feed a kitty. Oh, okay, this is before the CD players. I hope she remembered to rewind. They never did, and Daryl would be in all night re-rolling all these tapes back one by one in his little Walkman. He still has that thing. He says he uses it at the gym, but I think he's just too attached to his old mixtapes. He is so sentimental, our Daryl. These tapes had sounds from my apartment building. Did you know that? Oh, I thought it was stock sound effects from the library. Yeah, the CDs are, but when it was on tape, Daryl had me borrow a tape recorder from the music department and go collect them myself. He showed me a first draft of the questionnaire. I think some of them were still in there, like, what were you thinking about immediately before listening to the tape? This might be more interesting. Thanks for the follow, Tater. I was thinking about my cousin. After the tape ended, how quickly did your thoughts return to that subject? I never really stopped thinking about it. Right, I don't really get the point of that question. I think it's just there to set a baseline for the introspection index. So all the doors opening and closing, those were all from your apartment? Most of them, yeah. Others were from the basement. We have these rows of storage closets down there. None of them are locked or anything. It's just like this weird row of doors. They're not even marked or differentiated. You have to keep count as you go and remember which one is yours. Mine is number 8. I went down there a little tipsy once, Sunday cleaning, you know, a few glasses of wine. Anyway, I accidentally opened number 9, and it was full of mice, like, for a computer, I mean. They were all so neatly arranged on shelves, organized with some inscrutable quality, cables tied with Velcro. The neighborhood mouse hoarder. A collector, I think. I guess he lived next door. I told Daryl we should add a question, something like, while listening to the tape recordings of doors opening, if at any point you have any expectation or visualization about what might be on the other side of one of these doors, please write it down. Door number 9, I thought it might be a closet. I was just curious, I guess, since it was from my building. Like, I have a strong sense of where these doors lead just by hearing them. But is that just from my memory, or is it inherent in the sound somewhere? Interesting. You should write a grant proposal. Oh, I wouldn't want to step on any toes. You know, university politics. Oh, here's another extended monitoring tape from the waiting room. Busy night. There he is again, sleeping. Where do I know him from? It's gonna drive me up the wall. Does he work at the university? Oh, that sounds familiar. Yeah, I think he might have worked there a long time ago, maybe when I was an undergrad. Ah, the Paleolithic. I thought he looked a bit rugged. That's right, Jen. I went to college during the Stone Age. What was your major? Fire. I don't think he was a professor, maybe staff? It's been so long. Sometimes I wish I'd just barreled through like you did instead of taking time off before grad school. I'm sure it was the right thing to do at the time. Yeah, or the only thing. I was such a mess. Did I ever tell you about that? My boyfriend died suddenly in my last year of college. Oh, poor thing. It's okay, it was a long time ago, but yeah, it really shook me up back then. He was studying astronomy. We were both really into experimental music. We took a few art classes together. That's so sad. Sorry, never mind. No, it's okay. That's the thing, actually. I mean, that's what shook me up about it. It was just this random accident that never should have happened, and so sudden you never could have seen it coming. He was back home visiting his parents, and he fell off a roof. It's Charlie. Damn, I know what you mean. You can't predict that kind of, freak accident kind of thing. My psychiatrist says that's why I'm such a pessimist. Well, I think you're remarkably upbeat, all things considered. I mean, you know, that thing with your boyfriend on the roof, but also what happened to the TV station. Acts of God, you think? No, I mean, that's what you call it. That's what you say when it's nobody's fault. I don't think I believe in that. What? Acts of God. Yeah, but there has to be a word for when something completely shitty happens for no reason, right? I guess it's kind of archaic. Jen flips through the questionnaire. First, please use the blank space below to describe your general feelings about television. If you have difficulty summarizing your emotions succinctly or have too many different feelings to fit in the blank space, you may also use the back of this paper. I probably spend too much time watching television. You were asked to watch several videos. How many of the videos did you watch? All of them. This is Shannon, after all. Speaking of the TV station, you were saying something earlier about the other Marquez girl. Oh, right, I was talking about Weaver. Yeah, what exactly happened with her? She said she left on weird terms? Yes, well, so actually she just stopped showing up. That was pretty normal. It was all volunteers, right? Community television. Yeah, people didn't really give much advance notice. They just got bored and drifted away. It was more like an art project than a job for most people. Weaver Marquez helped manage the archives, like filing and sorting old tapes of broadcasts. I think she was pretty smart. She probably could have been more help fixing equipment or something, but she seemed content just to organize tapes. Nobody ever talked to her much, so when she left, no big deal. But then, a couple months later, we started getting these bizarre interventions. The camera focused on a table, passed through a doorway, then focused on another table. Which object present on the first table was also present on the second table? The picture was too blurry to make anything out. You should have these VCRs professionally cleaned. I'm writing my number on the back of the page. Someone would be doing a show in their normal time slot, and then suddenly the feed would cut. We'd still be broadcasting, but our signal was totally jammed. Oh, like interference? I mean, total blackout. Then this video would come on, clearly shot in our studio at some point, and it was her, Weaver Marquez. She'd be standing in the middle of the studio, facing the camera. Can I watch the ones on this side? Oh, Apparently can. Here we go again. Shannon and her videos. At the beginning of the video, you were asked to make note of a memory from earlier in the day and associate it with one of the objects on the table on screen. Which of the objects did you choose? The folded mat. Was this object present on the second on-screen table after the camera passed through the doorway? Not the same one, but another one sort of like it. It's a bit fuzzy in my memory, but I do remember the sound. This awful hum, like that was how she did it. She made a hum so sinister it drove our signal into hiding. The video began in one room and passed through a doorway into another room. In each room, a piece of music was playing. Was it the same piece of music in both rooms? No, they were different. Was the music in the first room optimistic or pessimistic? I think the music was pessimistic. Was the music in the second room optimistic or pessimistic? I think the music was optimistic. Then there were these on-screen captions, exactly the same every time. I don't remember what they said. Something creepy. Wow. You were asked to make a note of a fond memory from your childhood and associate it with one of the objects on the table on screen. Which oh, why is it the same one? Okay. Okay. I don't care this time. We had a title maker at the station, but it was a different font. I guess she recorded it at WEVP and then took it somewhere else to add the captions. I don't know. We all did a lot of speculating about how she made the video. Why she made the video. Yeah, why not just broadcast it normally? It was community television, right? Couldn't be any worse than Naked Banjo Guy. Yeah, exactly. Some people thought it was a protest or something, but I know she didn't have anything against the station. To me, it felt kind of urgent, like she would have done her broadcast through the proper channels, but something came up, a crisis or something. The video began with footage of the outside of a building, and then entered the building. Was it day or night outside the building? It was night. When the camera exited the building again, was it day or night outside the building? It was day. How often did that happen? A lot. Dozens of times. It went on for years. We even thought about asking the police to look into it, but it's so hard to locate a pirate signal. I mean, it could come from any direction, you know? It's all just waves. Exactly. It's all just waves, man. Waves in the current. Okay, can we do this one? We can. Shannon has to watch every video. The camera passed through several doors with inscribed labels. Please write down the sounds you heard as the video passed through the doors with the following inscriptions. Travel. Footsteps. Nourishment. A sort of clink, like coins fallen into a cup. Sleep. Music. Weaver's video showed up again right before the flood. Actually, I think it might have been the last thing we ever broadcast. So deep, man. Like waves in the current. Okay, location updating effect on emotional memory. These results are kind of confusing, actually. She's either very sleepy or just not taking it seriously. This test reminds me of one of your videos, Mimi. Sleepy, but kind of hurried. A portrait of distraction. So, produce the standard effect on the introspection index. That's all that needs saying, I think. Damn, this is taking a while. Daryl will be heartbroken if this is the only box we get through today. The poor thing, he is like a paper butterfly. I would say a moth. And you know how good moths are at growing mold, as we learned earlier, at least, you know, their carcasses. Oh look, can you read the date? Damn, I can't read it either. It may not have even been current. I remember for a while we had a calendar up that was like years behind. I think Daryl liked the picture. What was it? Best friends. Every month there was a different pair of animals that were friends. That's adorable. I think I'm gonna be sick. You don't remember that? That weird intern brought it from home. What was his name? Who? Oh, you remember. He was always like... I mean, we would make fun of him for... Damn, he's almost completely gone from my brain. So many interns coming and going then, I guess I didn't bother even remembering their names. I wonder who was working back when this was recorded. Is there a tape of the monitoring room? Yeah, here it is. Oh, before we check that out, did she flip the calendar forward or backward? Forward. Oh, weird. They usually flip it backward. Okay. Cat. And Ezra. There she goes. Wait, do you think... Did she follow them out? Oh, well, here's the last extended monitoring tape from the dock when they left. Have we gained a cat? See, told you he was one of those distillery guys. Guess you were right. These other guys came to pick him up for work, maybe? I don't like how they all hang out together. It's creepy. We hang out together and work together. Yeah, but it's not... They're like more than coworkers. I don't know. I just get this awful feeling whenever I see them. Like I knew them once, but not anymore. Like when they make up a dead person to look like an old photograph of themselves. Sort of familiar, sort of strange. Yeah, exactly. There ought to be a word for that. Bye, kitty. They look like nice enough people. I'm sure she's very happy with them. Yeah. So, this has been a bit of a memory trip for you, huh? I bet you didn't expect these old tapes to stir up so much. How does it feel for people to come up again? Weaver Marquez and Wise Will, and what was your boyfriend's name? The one who died in college? Charlie. Yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet experience, actually, like looking at photographs of people who've died or moved away, people that are gone. Gone, but not forgotten. No, not forgotten. You're right. Look at those easels and tables on the beach over there. They call it an open-air gallery, or probably something more upscale like Alfresco Galleria. They say it's a popular design in foreign cities like Paris and New York. That may be true. The appeal is clear enough, I guess. Anyone can wander in and out. There aren't any walls or doors. There's no roof either. Just a kind of thin cloth membrane, not quite a sheet or a tarp, but more like a drape of rolled-out spiderweb, looking like it might bunch up and dissolve if it ever got rained on. No concern down here for rain. Everybody thinks they're inside just because they can't see the sky, but it's a microclimate down here, and it surely does rain. Right now, they're exhibiting some intimate photographs of small-town life. The pictures all sort of run together. After looking at them all in a row, it's hard to come away with any specific memories of people or faces. You just get a kind of fuzzy afterimage, the warm residue of a community, no individual meaningful except as a bit of contrast or shading. Reviews have been good. It's a popular show, probably because of its relevance. The town depicted in these photos was very recently flattened to make way for a big museum project. Ezra helped Kate forage for mushrooms. Act 4, Scene 6. A grove. definitely a grove. Oh gosh. What's happening? Right. She lit a second cigarette with one of the embers of the first one. She trembled, sweating a little under a heavy coat. It was warmer near the doors, but she was following directions. No smoking within 20 feet of hospital entrance. Or, Kate gently rolls a fallen branch and plucks something white from the underside. She holds it up for Ezra to examine. So she stood by a hot dog cart parked at the edge of the sidewalk. Oh god. Pleurocypella purigens. Whatever. The common name is angel wings. Isn't that pleasant? They have a delicate, springy texture, and they're tasty, like sweet moss. Would you like a bite? Sweet moss doesn't sound very tasty to me. Personally, I like to be able to tell where my food came from by flavor alone. I like to taste my surroundings. I mean, it keeps me connected to the whole thing. My mushroom hunting mentor told me it's useless to pretend to know mushrooms. They escape erudition. The more you know them, the less sure you feel about identifying them. She taps the cover of the small red book she's carrying. That's why I always bring my favorite guidebook. Kate points to a small mushroom growing in the dirt. Oh, here's an important one to recognize, though. Look, see the sort of greenish pallor of the cap? Amanita phalloides. That's Greek. Amanita means mushroom, and phalloides means, never mind. Oh God. Can you eat it? Only once. It's deadly poisonous. Deathcap, that's the common name. It's killed a lot of people, this little mushroom, including a few Roman emperors. It's a revolutionary. Even the Buddha died from eating a mushroom when he was very old. That's just what they do, clear away old things, make room for new things. Pretty important, right? I've always thought they deserved a little more respect. I want to know. Would you like to help me look for a few more? I have a sort of shopping list. Great, look for... Actually, just grab any mushroom that catches your eye and throw them in this bag. Let me know when you're done and we'll see what you've got. I mean, is any game complete without a good phallic joke? Have fun! That's the second rule of mushroom hunting. The first rule is ask Kate before eating anything, okay? Oh. Kate examines some tree roots. She spots a couple of intriguing growths along the roots of the tree, a speckled white ball and a cluster of softly glowing amber caps. The hot dog vendor tried to strike up a conversation with some immediately too personal questions. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he considered it part of his job, she thought, to offer his customers some kind of counsel. Maybe it was to salve his guilty conscience for selling junk food outside a hospital. Kate examines the glowing amber caps. The mushrooms are slick, sticky to the touch, like they're covered in smoldering honey. Kate cuts the bundle of mushrooms from the tree roots and puts them in her bag. Kate digs in a bare patch of dirt. It's a bit muddy from flooding or the general dampness of the caves. She finds two promising specimens, a spotted brown cap and a dense bundle of dark ridges. Had she ever tried any alternative medicines? Acupuncture, homeopathy, Ayurveda, magical thinking? She said she'd never heard of any of those things. He fished a stray hot dog out of the pickle jar. I can't read today. I don't know what's up. Kate inspects the dense bundle of dark ridges. Dark brown ridges and folds cover the surface of the mushroom. It has a pleasant, almost fruity smell. Kate plucks the mushroom from the dirt and puts it in her bag. Kate tries to swipe some mud off her boot. Oh, okay. Ezra pokes around the base of a cypress tree. A brownish clump of mushrooms feathers out from the base of the cypress tree. A few feet above, several pale blue puffs cling to the trunk. He didn't like to play in the house. It was always too cold. It seemed to store up the cold at night and slowly discharge it into his bones during the day while the sun bounced feebly off the windows. But he liked to play in the woods behind the house. The woods were full of deer. His dad said the deer liked best to live on the edges of forests. Recent developments in the area had created a lot of fresh edges, so they massed here and sometimes ran into the road. Ezra crouches to get a closer look at the brownish clump. The mushrooms look dried out and brittle, almost like tree bark. He heard strange, gruff voices back in the direction of the house, and something that sounded like a choked sob or a sharp rebuke. He kept going. Ezra tears off a piece of the mushroom and puts it in his bag. Ezra closes his eyes and listens to the water and the distant clicking of bats. He tripped on a protruding root and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of a sycamore tree, listening to the soft rumble of a faraway thunderstorm, then louder, closer, and his hair stood on end, and there was the bird. Didn't find anything? That's okay. Here's my haul. Kate takes the dense bundle of dark ridges out of her bag. This one I can't really use, but I picked it up just to show it to you. It looks a lot like very popular eating mushrooms around these parts called a morel, but it's not a morel. Kate slices the mushroom in half lengthwise. It's full of white fiber, the consistency of cotton. This is the easiest way to tell them apart. The real morel is empty. This one, the false morel, is actually kind of poisonous. I forget what its effects are exactly. Here, let's check the Vermeulen book. Kate flips through the pages of her guidebook. Okay, here it is. Reading. Symptoms include wanting to fight, demanding answers, dryness of eyes, nose, and lips, restless sleep, dreams of flood, of rolling stones, of accidents, people transforming into owls, vampires, rockets, and traveling to stars. Huh, it doesn't sound so bad, actually. Kate puts the mushroom back into her bag. Kate takes the bundle of amber caps from her bag. These ones are really cool. See how they kind of glow a little? It's not enough to find your way in the dark or anything, but still pretty amazing. Anyway, I make a tea out of them. Pretty good for headaches. Kate puts the mushrooms back into her bag. Shrooms. So, what do your parents do for work, I mean? My dad used to sell windows. People were building a lot of new houses, and they needed a lot of windows, but then they stopped building houses. My mom worked at a bakery and a bar. Sometimes she would see the same people in the morning and the evening. The bakery closed, but she doesn't work at the bar anymore, but she still goes there to see her friends. Do you have a family? Oh. I almost had a baby once. I got very sick, and the only thing that helped me was a funny-looking mushroom called collared earth star. I've basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everyone who sets foot aboard the Mucky Mammoth feels like family to me now. I guess if nobody's family, then everybody's family. These are the only trees in this whole cave. Who planted them here? Oh, shit. Months later, she came across a book on homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. She thought it was mostly bullshit, but found the author's notes on the unpredictability of mushrooms immediately compelling, spiritual even. She started collecting mushrooms on hikes, never eating them, just collecting, identifying, and discarding. Eventually, she connected with the Lexington Mycological Society and began to study in earnest the medicinal uses of fungi. Right, not many trees down here in the dark. I know these are some kind of cypress, and they were definitely planted here deliberately, by someone who... I guess I don't know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be some kind of memorial to something? Will would know more. Sorry, it's a mystery. Ezra kicks the dirt. It's a mystery? I'll search for clues. She put out her cigarette, said goodbye to the hot dog vendor, and spent the rest of the afternoon listening to doctors and trying to understand the world as they did, as a list of discrete injuries to be mended. Ezra examines a large stone monument. The monument is covered with lichen and painted text. Oh, hey, Soren. Ooh. Ezra reads the text. X and O forever. Ezra looks around the shore. Ezra steps on a plastic bottle. A wooden post projects from the sand nearby. Ezra examines the wooden post. A groove is worn at the top of the post. Ezra inspects the contents of his pockets. Back to the other side. Story's going good. We've got a double story happening at the moment. Alright, what have you got? That stone-faced monument has X plus O forever painted on it. Interesting. What do you think that means? Hug and kiss forever? Or they could be initials, Xavier and Olivia forever. Xerxes and Oliver? What do you think that monument is for? I'm not sure anyone remembers. There's a pole in the ground over there. It's all scratched up. Oh, yeah. I bet a lot of people will tie their boats there. Hello, mini cats. Look at you. Maybe somebody who takes care of the trees. Could be. Or another travelers and mushroom hunters like us. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that all adds up to. Like I said, I wish Will were here. He'd have some local history for us. We can ask him back on the boat. Kate and Ezra look up at the old battleship drifting by. Oh, there it is. The Iron Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing by. I don't know much about it firsthand, but I've heard things. Ezra's parents shook him awake. They seemed alarmed, but not immediately concerned. They led him back to the house, past the house, into the car. Dad said they were going to stay at the bus station for a while, the one with the little arcade with the car game he liked. But it's got so many cats on it. I want a creepy boat with like a fucking 100 cats on it. Dad watched him closely in the rearview mirror, expecting Ezra to be excited or confused or scared, but he didn't feel anything. He hardly seemed to hear. In fact, he felt like he was observing the family car from a distance, from far above, from the clouds. Supposedly there's nobody even aboard, no people. I mean there must be something on there. Life is everywhere. Rats, insects, some kind of hardy mold. You can't see all the cats. You can't hear the cats. Part of it could be flooded and host to some of the eyeless fish that live in the Echo. Hey, maybe there's some mushrooms growing in there, slowly consuming military rations from over 100 years ago. I've heard it was in the Civil War. I guess they had boats full of soldiers and supplies going up and down the Ohio River. And they fought on the river like boat to boat with cannons or something, I guess. Machine guns? I'm no military historian, as you can probably tell. Anyway, I guess this one just got lost and somehow ended up all the way down here. Maybe it slipped into a cave up north. They're all connected underground. There's another version of the story where it didn't get lost. It was full of deserters. They came down here to hide. Maybe that's why it's a pariah. More mysteries. They do pile up over time as people forget the details. Thanks for taking me mushroom picking. Mushroom hunting. You can pick apples because they're right out there in the open. Mushrooms hide. You have to hunt for them. Well, that was confusing. Okay. Let's go, guys. It's time to go. See that rough circle of rocky protrusions near the shore? It's more intricate than it looks. More than 2/3 of it is actually underwater. I haven't seen it myself, but listen to this. It's man-made, and the rocks weren't placed according to their size, so what's visible is a more or less uniformly random selection of the overall shape. It looks like it might be a spiral, all told, or maybe some kind of meditative labyrinth. At the head of it is a petrified oak stump that was moved here from above ground, of course, decades ago. That's where the ceremony took place. The Lock-Lucks were married here. Many frail-tongued observers said that they should just go with Lock or Luck, or split the difference with Look, or even Lick, or really anything else, but it was never going to happen. Billy Luck and W.H. Locke met in line at the DMV. Their driver's license photographs were mixed up by the clerk, a mistake they discovered immediately but never corrected. This must have been fun to sit in a room and be like, alright, what the hell are we gonna say next? Their engagement was welcome news for the family businesses who had been looking for some opportunity to merge interests. These were the Locks of Lock Large Animal Storage and the Lucks of the Luck Family Nut Company. Surely someone in some branch of those two great trees had elephant husbandry on the brain. This is all speculation. The ceremony itself was humble and perfunctory, and it must have somehow involved these rocks. Maybe they walked around them in a spiral like a symbol of their ever-tightening bond, and it must have also involved that petrified stump. Neither family is particularly religious, but rumors persist that the officiant wore a robe. Maybe he was just comfortable in, Shannon and her friends set out in the dinghy to deliver a package at the telephone exchange. Act 4, scene whatever. Echo River Central Exchange. I think it said 7. I wasn't looking. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as the tugboat can go. You know, noise and lights disturb the bats. I usually send Will, but I thought you'd like the chance to meet Dashiell. He's the guy who worked at the TV station, WEVP, so he'll pass through the Bat Sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or excuse me, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30, they changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the Bat Sanctuary. The package is going to Poppy. She's an operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Sam and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's some kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in just before the Bat Sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of... I don't know how to say it. You should check it out. Okay, bye! Do it entirely in the dark. Come on. Let's go. No. Oh, wait, don't run into that. Oh, it's doing it. Okay. What's that? We claim these helmets and the names of the folks who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who bought up our old mine and traded our brothers and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water, too, and swept through hidden tunnels into some awful cave we never will find, and so we guess the water buried them for us, so let this here be the marker for their grave. And if any son of a bitch from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just you try it and see what will happen. Hey, Elkhorn, that's the mine we met in, where your folks, worked. Looks like it's been here a while. I sure as hell wouldn't mess with it. You think whoever wrote it is still that angry? I don't think you ever forget anger like that. No, I guess you probably don't. This probably stirs up... I mean, how do you... I'm fine. I'm glad this is here. People should remember this happened. Well, here we are, remembering. I didn't even know it the first time around, but here I am remembering it now. That's a fine memorial, I guess. Is Conway wearing a lei? Oh, good. Distillery dudes. Why are you here? Seriously, Conway, when did your arm turn skeletal? Because... What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Just, sometimes I forget I don't even really know you that well. Yeah, well, that makes two of us. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier they could even help me take care of these medical bills for my leg, you know, get it all together on a plan, consolidate it. Hey, if we can find him, maybe Weeva could get you out of this thing with the distillery. She has some experience with him. Oh, sure, could be. Anyway, I have a feeling it'll all work out. Even for me? Hey, why not? Seems like we're getting pretty close to finding your cousin, right? And besides that, you're young and smart. Plenty of time to bounce back from whatever. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss, Ira, Lizette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much, but somehow Liz got it into her mind that he would have wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did, or maybe so his ghost could hold it over me, but just one more thing to feel like I owed him for. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery, and now that the antique shop is closing up, I've got no use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it. Sure, I could keep an eye on it for you until you get straightened out. Sure. Okay, sounds good. Visitors to the Echo River American Black Bat Artificial Hibernaculum and Sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white noise syndrome. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave known or suspected to host bats infected with white noise syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. The American black bat is confused by light. If you are using a lantern or other artificial light source, be aware that it may attract and confuse bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic. Relax. Stop your vehicle and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. Bats live in birdhouses. Bat fact. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Hey, Lloyd. Bats talk in extremely high-frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of these ultrasonic clicks. By comparing very subtle differences in the time these echoes take to come back, differences of just millionths of a second, bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. I thought that was a really long trip to the grocery store, honestly. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, and so it still needs to avoid running into anything. So bats keep clicking away, even while they munch on a tasty bug snack. It may be poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. I wonder how many other bats know whether one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. I think when they're actually communicating, it sounds more like singing. I'd like to hear that. Why do you know that, Shane? I mean, shit, don't we all want bat facts? Here's another one. Bat fact. The American black bat's natural diet mostly consists of moths and other small insects that breed along the river. Here at the Artificial Hibernaculum and Sanctuary, we use a combination of chemical snares and ultrasonic wards to repel all potentially contaminant-bearing insects and replace them with our own locally bred and spawned hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths, which we call the little gray nothing moth. You may be thinking that the other moths and insects the American black bat would have been eating are very much relieved that their natural predator has found another food source. Not so! We've installed netting and highly effective moth traps along the river where the American black bat normally hunts to balance their escape from the food chain. But eating moths isn't the only systemic contribution these bats make. They also produce a potent fertilizer in the form of guano that helps plant life thrive along the Echo River, the shore of Lake Lethe. In order to minimize the sanctuary's impact on subterranean agriculture, we collect the precious guano here at the Hibernaculum and manually distribute throughout the caves. It's a full-time job. Sounds like a lot of work. I wonder how the bats would feel about their guano being taken like that. Haha, maybe it's better they don't know, like bat plumbing. I mean, I never think about where it goes, do you? kind of bothers me, like they're tricking the bats. Yeah, in this case, I think it's about survival. I mean, if that's the bottom line, what's the difference? Like the folks in the mine, you said they used to buy stuff. Fans, canaries, all those little trinkets to make it bearable. There's still a lot of stuff down there. It feels cluttered but human. I just mean all people need enough to pretend we're home, and we can make it anywhere. You get kind of philosophical when you're drinking. Did anybody ever tell you that? Yeah, I guess I do. Nah, this is nothing. I used to have this drinking buddy who would get loaded and tell the weirdest damn riddles, like, which is more musical, a truck passing by a factory or a truck passing by a music school? Ha! Count your blessings. Shikaka. Interesting tree. Can I take this umbrella? Is that the umbrella that got blown away in whatever other chapter the other day? What will we learn this time? White noise syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect that the white fungal growth which appears on bats' faces and wings irritates and confuses them, causing them to awaken early from hibernation and venture outside, depleting stored energy they need to survive through winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing the disease. It spreads quickly, and it is highly fatal. In this way, white noise syndrome has drawn some comparisons to colony collapse disorder as suffered by bees. White noise syndrome and colony collapse disorder are sudden, violent, and mysterious. Will honeybees and the American blackbat be two more lost species wiped out in a geological blink and forgotten to natural history? It's possible that a cure won't be identified in time, so the sanctity of this artificial hibernaculum is our best hope of preserving them. As you leave the Echo River American Black Bat Hibernaculum and Sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothing are free of hitchhikers. Oh, that'd be fun. Doing voiceovers. On the other side. Interesting. Okay. Careful up there. Can't drive your new truck if you slip and break your legs. You too. Try not to make any more bad deals while I'm gone. I'll just be floating along down here. I just mean keep your eyes open and don't look back. Okay. Is she Orpheus? Dashiell. Oh God, it's another old man. I'm not doing another old man voice. I'm just gonna make him soft. Could be bypassed with another capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce noise. If your circuit's too noisy, you should tie those floating pins to the ground. Huh, that's a pretty good idea. They're probably picking up all kinds of radio interference. Dashiell Morse, pleased to meet you. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore, but there are quite a few of them still in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't source enough current to ring these old bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jack. So you do still work here? On the tugboat they weren't totally sure. Oh, well, yeah, I'm here just about every night. That's not an answer. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes can't quite adjust to the light. It takes some practice. Believe it or not, I've been coming here since I was a kid, for one reason or the next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true, they had bats then too, but they were considered a nuisance. A train station? What happened to it? Well, the river shifted and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. It does that, the river, and I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed, even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty, so they moved the phone company in here. I've returned here as a young lineman, a skill I picked up in wartime, running telephone wires behind enemy lines. We used trees instead of poles. I miss that, actually. They were easier to climb. It's just as well I'm in no shape to be climbing anything these days. The closest I get to patching up the wiring in the crystal room for the WEVP folks. Did you ever know a girl named Weaver? Sure, Weaver Marquez. That's funny. I was just thinking about her. Yeah, I met her a couple of times at the TV station. I suppose I didn't know her too well. She handled the archives, and I was helping with wiring and stuff. She really seemed to know her way around all that gear, though. She had a head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore, but I always liked her. Listen, miss, if you're interested in WEVP, you should go talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo. There's a mail stop there. They don't have a sign or anything. Just ask around. I guess I'll get back to this damn old ringer. Poppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice chatting with you. Conway? You gonna let me back on the boat, man? No? Okay. Oh, you mean further along this way, I guess, on the platform. Abel and Eloise, the lovers' couriers. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons in the employ of the Echo River Avian Post. They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft, but old habits were hard to die. Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground and trash, even pull them out of pockets and deliver them to other people nearby, to delight or embarrassment. Word spread, and travelers passing through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would always be found nestled closely together in a disused newspaper stand set aside for their habitation, and that's where we left them. Poppy. What should Poppy's voice be? Oh, just set it right over there by the lamp, sweetie. Thanks. Actually, just a minute. Who does that parcel claim to be from? That's weird. There's no label on it. Well, if we're lucky, it's chocolates from a secret admirer and not a snake from an assassin. So who are you? Do you work for the post office or the tugboat? I only ask because I haven't seen you before. Was that you I heard chatting down the hall? I'm just doing Kate a favor, dropping off this package. Kate. I love Kate. She helped deliver both my nieces, one in the hospital and one at the base of a mossy moonlit oak. It was beautiful. I love Kate. I think Loretta's granddaughter used her too. Oh, Loretta used to work here. Actually, I think quite a few of our former operators have relied at some time on Kate's services. Well, now I guess they'll have more time with their little ones. As you can see, all their chairs are empty. Well, that's a busy doula. It wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us. Loretta, Edna, Meg, Kara, Marie, Lois, Liz, Hester, Angie, Wilma, Connie. I was number 12. Connie and I were hired on the same day, but she showed up early. Marie finished college, and Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller, but he had it coming, and I hear she did just fine on her own. So they hired Beryl, Jenna, and Sachiko, which brought us up to 13, and that was as many operators as we ever had here at one time. The power company came along, buying all the lines, and one day they took the exchange as a throw-in like it was nothing. Nothing. They started phasing us out. Edna, Meg, Kara, and Lewis left one Friday afternoon and were asked not to come back on Monday morning. Beryl saw the writing on the wall and quickly found employment at a private PBX. They had Jana and Liz stop routing calls and write up some kind of best practices document instead. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls were reassigned to other divisions. Connie, I think, was checking residential meters. Sachiko and Wilma were moved into energy sales, cold calling businesses to see if they needed to upgrade their electricity plan. At least they were still on the phone. Then it was just Loretta, Angie, and me. We were swamped. The hours were hell and hard on the throat. The voice with a smile became a croak. I was gargling warm salt water in the break room, sipping from a thermos full of hot honey broth stashed under my chair. Oh, I brought a lot of extended technique to the switchboard in those days. What does that mean? Extended technique to the switchboard. Is Poppy? I don't know. Sounded pretty good to me. He's got the voltage too high. He'll burn out the relay. So, where was I? Extended switchboard technique. It was all about timing your breath. Some girls got lightheaded doing too many calls in a row, but with that upbeat dynamic inflection they made us use to keep everything intelligible, it was very physical. So after a few months, it was just me, a new automation strategy was announced, and this place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch Number 30. If it's automated, what do you do here? It's not fully automated. There are still gaps in functionality that need a human touch. And, it really is all about touch here. Sound is a vibration, a touch you feel in your ear. So my voice is my touch. When we're talking, we're touching, even on the phone. That's an electric touch, an intimate little shock that makes your tiny hairs tremble. But that's not even what I mean when I say it's all about touch here. When the power company first tried automating this old exchange with fancy new transistor arrays, the switchboard caught fire. It was just too much, too fast. So they tried using some clunky old mechanical relays, but then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. Their technicians determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc over decades around the specific tempo of its human operators, so short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all the wiring, they'd have to work out the exact timing of every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. And that officially is my role here. I run the switchboard for the whole exchange. When it's the work of 12, I'd like to remind you that's some kind of machine somewhere that tracks how long it takes me to do each little thing. The caller never hears my voice now. They dial, my little indicator light switches on, and I make the connection. Do you miss talking to the callers? There's something that bothers me about the process, besides the fact that I'm training my replacement, who isn't even human. Here's what I mean. How long do you think it should take to time my every move and recreate that timing in an automated switchboard? Rough estimate. Maybe a week? That's what I said. But this has been going on for over a year, and a very dark thought has started to nag at me. What if there is no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's cheaper just to keep me here filling in for the rhythm of the operators? What if I'm the cheap machine? Why don't you just quit? And this economy? No, you're probably right. Working in silence for peanut shells, waiting to be replaced by a robot, it doesn't sound very dignified, does it? The reality is that I've been working here for my whole adult life. I came here as a girl and I leave as a middle-aged woman. I don't know if I'm ready to be her yet. Oh, the parcel. Right over here by the lamp is fine. Thanks for dropping that off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. Oh, Poppy. Distillery dudes. Just a creeping and a faintly buzzing their way through the waters. Ooh. Oh, it's a tiny boat. Okay, it's not. I thought it was like a squid or something. She returned on the dinghy alone. She had a strong and sudden urge to shut the motor off and let the current take her, but she couldn't work out where that impulse came from, so she did her best to resist it. She met a flower salesman on a raft. They floated alongside in buoyant pots, bobbing untethered. He corralled them with a long pole and a stream of small adjustments. She leaned out over the water to get a closer look. He'd just started work for the day, so his stock was full. He pushed a few bouquets her way. First was a delicate mixture of pansies, arranged in the Byzantine style. He said it was for a particular kind of person. If it didn't remind her of anyone in specific, she'd better move on. Next, a rustic bundle of blue-petaled flowers of many different types. He suggested it would make an appropriate thinking of you bouquet. Finally, a delicate mass of roses, made to look messy. She thought it looked serene, and he agreed. He drifted away with the current, pushing his flowers along with the raft. She met a guitar player pedaling a floating bicycle with his dog in tow. He said they took turns. The water was cold, and the floating bicycle, while technically marvelous, wasn't quite buoyant enough for the both of them. Swimming is hard work. The hardest work that dog had ever done, he expected. They'd been traveling this way for most of the night, struggling through the icy water, stopping to recover when they could find a rock large enough to start a small campfire. He had his belongings stuffed into a weathered guitar case at the end of the thin rope. It floated pretty well, so he only had to keep an eye on it and occasionally free it from a rock or some driftwood it was caught on. She asked him if he had a guitar in his case or just closed. He would have played her something, but the case leaked a bit, and he didn't think it would sound right until it had time to dry out. She met a family of 5 in a flat-bottomed skiff. The boat was loaded to capacity with black plastic bags and a few larger pieces of furniture wrapped up in a blue tarp. 3 paddled, the 2 adults and the older child. The 2 younger children slept. They'd been traveling all night, first by car and then for the last few hours by boat. Hungry and tired, they didn't plan to stop until they reached West Virginia, where a relative had offered to take them in. But the adults were happy to take a break from paddling in weary silence. They'd asked her about her river journey. She told them about the memorial. They were sympathetic. No minors in their family, but he was once injured at a warehouse job and had to fight for disability pay. They knew what these companies were like and what it was like to have to assert your humanity to them. They wished her well and paddled on toward West Virginia. She gave in, shut off the motor, and floated for a while. Then she knew what she'd been craving, a moment of silence. Scene 8. Salmonitis. So did Conway get kidnapped by the skeleton dudes? What about Blue? Like, Blue was over there on the other side of the thing, and she just left Blue there too? Like, what the fuck? Just in time. We've already finished eating, but we're about to place a to-go order for Clara. She's back on board, getting ready for her show. Take a look at the menu. I'm sure there's something you'll like. Ida is a bit of a local celebrity for her cooking, I mean. Hey, Ezra was just asking about you. He's around corner playing a video game. Maybe let him know you two are back, or where's the old man, anyway? Who the fuck knows where Conway went? Aw, bad luck. You'll get it next time. Hey, got a quarter? He's almost got this. It's true. Sure, I have 1 quarter. Thank you. So, where's, They took him. Damn, yeah, he really got himself into a situation there. Yeah, I'm gonna go sit down. Cool. Johnny, everything's cool. The food is good here. I think everyone else is finishing up, but you could probably get something to go. Alright, Claw Maestro, let's give it another shot. So, let's see what's on the top of the pile here. There's a stuffed octopus, a plastic bag full of clamshells, a cowboy hat, and some big headphones. That octopus has a leg wrapped around the boombox underneath it. The shells were pretty clear, but I don't know if the claw can really grip the bag well. So the cowboy hat is in the corner, so it's kind of tricky to tell if it's wedged in or not. Those headphones might be a good bet, but I can't see the cord. It could be wrapped around something. Dude, my grandmother, she used to be so freaking good at these. Like, anytime there's a claw machine, she would get stuff every fucking time. What are you going to try for? I can get the octopus. Definitely the octopus. Wow, alright, I admire your confidence. Okay, when I put this quarter in, you'll have about 8 seconds to grab your prize. The octopus is square in the middle. Let me know if you need help lining it up. I've got a slightly different view of the field from up here. Ready? Here we go. Johnny inserts the coin and the machine awakens. 8. The claw hovers in the front left corner of the machine. Does this look right? You're too far to the left. You need to push it back further. 7. Okay. So, I need... Wait, what the hell did he say? You're too far for the left? You need to push it... I don't even know. The claw hovers halfway across the front of the machine. Does this look right? You need to push it back further. Okay. Oh shit. I forgot about that part. Okay. Shit, no. Okay. The claw drops. It grabs the octopus. The octopus is attached too securely to the plastic boombox beneath it. It slips from the claw's grasp. Aw, no good. I had a feeling that octopus was a little too comfortable in there. Hey, listen. It sounds like that old man you were following around, I guess he had to leave. Is he coming back? Well, probably not. He's got himself on a trajectory, you know? Anyway, I don't know what kind of plans you have now, but if you need help figuring out your next move, you can always talk to me and Miss Junebug. I wanted to make sure you know that. I'll meet up with Julian when we get back above ground and go back to the museum. Oh yeah, he's your brother, you said, right? Hey, maybe we still have time to poke around this place a little. They have some pretty wild stuff in here. Hey, did you see this? They keep a table full of fake food over here. I never known why. Actually, I think it might be real food coated with shellac or something. Preserved. Oh, and look, this tentacle-looking thing is half-eaten. This is someone's meal that they didn't finish? I dare you to take a bite. You first. Okay. Whoa, I'm just kidding. If Sam and Ida preserved this half-eaten meal, it must have been pretty important to them, right? Maybe it belonged to someone they care about, like a beloved uncle had a mid-meal stroke, so they kept it in his memory. Jesus. Yeah, like those sunflower seeds my folks left behind. Oh, I'm sure your folks are fine, though. Are you worried about them? Yes, it's weird that they just disappeared. Yeah, listen, that's okay to be worried. You're doing fine. I will be right back. My throat is dying. I need some water. So, BRB. Okay, I'm back. Whoa. Weird. Somehow I thought it was his truck and delivery and all. It was, that's what she's saying, but he gave it to her before they took him away. But you're gonna deliver it anyway? Why? Somebody's waiting for those antiques. Have you got a name or an address? Maybe it doesn't matter even having discharged all that whatever it is onto the lawn. I'm sure you'd still have fulfilled your friend's obligation. Johnny and I will help you unload when we get there. Lift with your legs, Cricket. Yes, ma'am. Oh. So how was everything? How was the sweet cave snail? Devastating. You're a killer, Ida. Well, I can't take all the credit. Sam came across the whole cave snail colony down there about a year back, and we've been leaving rock candy for him to gorge on since. We just started harvesting earlier this month. Yes, it's all about patience down here. Everything grows slowly in the dark. There's a fish in Lake Lethe that lives on 200 years, and its flavor profile only develops at about 75. I've got a pot of bones in there that's been stewing for at least a week. I don't even remember why I put them on. Come to think of it, I don't even remember what kind of bones they are. Oh, we need one for the road. Clara said she wanted, something primordial, she said. What does that mean? Kate reviews the menu. I think she meant something from very deep in the lake. Ah, could be. Hand Shannon the menu. Here, you pick. I'm no good at this. Shannon inspects the menu. Maybe, so many choices. Blonde salamander and broccoli fritters with banana sauce. Good choice. Your friend will love it. I have it right out, sweetie. Ezra leans over the table and carefully examines the preserved food and drink. He gently compresses a pea-sized eyeball on a plate. The eye is hard, like glass. Oh, you like candied fish eye? Most kids are repulsed just looking at them, which is a shame, because they're really delicious. I have a bowl of them in the kitchen. I'll bring some out. Sorry, I startled you, sweetie. Why didn't they finish their meal? Well, they had more than twice as much food as they really needed, so even half was too much. This food is about 15 years old. It's true, things were different then. Nobody came to eat here. We were fighting just to keep the lights on. Sam, my husband, Sam was depressed. He couldn't catch anything. That was part of the problem. Most of what we served was shipped in frozen or dried, and I just threw it in the fryer. We both come a long way since then. Well, 2 young men came in for dinner, seasoned divers, they said, over 10,000 hours between them and Lake Lethe alone. They'd been out all day, salvaging parts from a riverboat wreck that had worked up a fierce hunger. They said they ordered the whole menu, even without looking. It was a short menu in those days. I set them right here and went back to the kitchen. Sam was at the next table doing a Sudoku and drinking malt liquor, his usual routine at the time. An hour later, I was cleaning up when Sam came bursting into the kitchen. Ada, he said, kind of frantic. These drivers are still hungry. Bring them another course. And I said, they already ordered the whole menu. Sam said, make something new. Keep making up dishes, whatever. Just keep bringing out the food. So I did until the small hours of the morning. I made so many new dishes that night I could write a book. And it was good, inspired. But I was working so hot and fast at the burning edge of inspiration, I didn't think to write any of it down. I was so wrecked with exhaustion the next day, I knew I couldn't remember what all I'd done in the kitchen. Sam thought we could take a photograph of the leftovers, but we couldn't get the lighting right, so we just shellacked the whole table. Now when I need inspiration for the menu, I come looking here and think about all those ingenious dishes I threw together for those divers. Of course, they didn't pay their full bill. I heard one of them complaining to the other, let's just pay half and let them charge the other half to whatever demon in the kitchen kept making up food faster than we could ask for it. But it all worked out. Things have really turned around since then. This place is actually pretty popular now. The success our expanded menu inspired Sam, too. He started bringing back the most magnificent ingredients from his nightly dives. I'd better get back to work. Stay right here, sweet, and I'll bring you a treat on my way back out. Oh, gosh. Why are we descending? Nice squid you got there, Sam. Well, buddy, guess your catch of the day. The one and only. So, what are you? You look like, well, some kind of squid, I guess. Kind of mopey little guy, huh? Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. You smell like sort of buttery. Well, that should be just fine. Skin feels like sandpaper, huh? Well, she'll figure something out. I think I'll call you Rich Blue Squid. Welcome to Salmonitis, the one and only Rich Blue Squid. Hope you enjoy your stay. I mean, not too much. Have you ever seen a creature like me before? You were pretty far down there. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm the first, except there were 2 divers who went before me long ago. Maybe that was before your time. How old are you anyway? I wonder. They ate here once, back in the bad old days. 2 young guys. Could have been brothers, maybe. I was over in the corner with my coffee and crossword. I hadn't been able to catch a thing, so I'd have just fried up something from frozen. Well, these guys were hungry enough to eat it and asked for more, and they did at least as much talking as eating. See, like I said, they were divers, and like I said, they might have been brothers. They had a kind of rivalry going on between them or something. Ida was about to write up their check, but I slipped calmly and quietly into the kitchen for a minute and told her to just keep bringing out food. I figured they wouldn't notice, caught up in their boasting as they were, and I wanted to listen. They went back and forth for hours about all that deep and dangerous dives they'd been on, new tunnels they discovered, all the weird creatures they'd encountered at the weirdest depths of Lake Lethe. It was like a dance, not like a boxing match. Each story went deeper than the last, and I listened to every word of it, memorized every description of every tunnel and diving route they discovered. That's my map now, you see. For 15 years, I've been using routes those 2 young divers discussed right here at that table. Yeah, I could write a guidebook to the depth of this lake, but I don't dare. Somebody would steal my good diving spots, and then where would we be? See, people come here from all over just to try our daily catch because they know it's unique. Ain't you proud? Since I can't write any of that down, I just preserved that table where they had their meals so I can look at it to jog my memory, like they were eating pickled crab when they talked about that shipwreck full of salamanders. Pretty clever, huh? It's my own secret code. Well, I'll be straight with you, Rich Blue Squid. There is one feature of this arrangement that I find unsettling. In fact, I lose a decent amount of sleep over it. I told you those boys were competing, right? One-upping each other, I mean, each getting wilder and more adventurous as they traded tales. Well, I navigate mostly in the dark down there, just going by touch and a kind of mental picture I construct from their detailed boasts. And every time I explore a new diving spot from those recollections, I have to weigh it all against the risk that I'm headed right into a dangerous falsehood. One of those men could have felt for a moment like he was losing some ground in their little duel, so he could have slipped a fake one in there, maybe told a fib about some dive he went on and found a colony of blind shrimp living in a discarded refrigerator. When I get down there, my diving bell cracks open on a sharp rock where he said that fridge would be, and that's the end of Sam of Salmonitis. To be honest, that possibility puts the fear of death in me every time I touch water. Hey, Sam. Good haul tonight? We'll see what she can make of it. Yeah, pretty good, I think. I had some trouble down by the narrow tunnel. Some kind of fast-growing freshwater barnacles just about sealed it up. I picked away for half an hour before I gave up and went around the other way. But I got the catch of the day. That's the important part. That's what people travel for. Pretty cold here for diving, right? The cold I can handle. I got an oil heater in the diving bell, and if it's really bad, I might take a nip of something here and there. Will you stay for a drink? I've got a dark rum that goes well with coffee. I think we're about to leave, but thanks. Just passing through. Hey, aren't we all? Oh, she's got your food ready. You all enjoy your meal, all right?
This world is not my home. I'm just passing through. My treasures and my hopes are placed beyond the blue. Many friends and kin have gone on before, and I can't feel at home in this world.
Yeah, I bet it's real fresh down there.
Anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. Angels beckon me to heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. I have a loving mother up in glory land, and I don't expect to stop until I shake her hand. She's waiting out for me in heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know
She returns to the
I
top.
have no friend.
See that? Just looks like a swirling mess of garbage, doesn't it? Well, that's what it is. I don't know why trash seems to collect right there of all the spots on the lake. It's always been that way. Everyone just navigates around it like it was an island or something. Look closely, you can see some wood scraps from the old canoe rental shop. Gemini Canoe and Firewood. The place was run by twin sisters, Cassie and Paula, I think. That was years ago. They used to rent out canoes to tourists, campers, pilgrims, folks like that. They must have had some kind of deal with the distillery. You'd always see a couple of Hard Times boys posted up on the dock, peddling small bottles to their customers. Cassie and Paula worked those old canoes to death, wrung every penny out of them. They'd only take one out of commission when it was truly, demonstrably dangerous, and you couldn't get a refund unless your boat was visibly taking on water. The side business in Firewood was a stroke of minor genius. Yeah, this cluttered place makes a decent local museum. It's as good a history as I could ever tell. We arrived at a small houseboat neighborhood that sometimes hosted concerts for the pleasure of its residents, where Clara was scheduled that night to perform. Junebug and Johnny watched the show from the dockyard with the others. Act 4, Scene 9. A neighborhood. Oh. I remember this. I told you yeah, you don't have to say it. Only because it's always true. She played the flower shop. Cyrano opened. He was having trouble with his tape machine, so he just droned out on the lap steel. He got really into it, and he went on for, like, forever. People were falling asleep. Not everyone. I remember the air was warm, perfumed. You were playing with some petals you found on the floor, and I was looking at the ceiling. I remember the ceiling was glass. During the week, that room was a greenhouse. I don't know where they put all the plants when they had bands in. Maybe outside, if the weather was nice. It was nice that night, warm, it smelled like spring. I remember the folding chairs. It's so uncomfortable, but I guess it was their only option. They had to pack everything up during the week so there'd be room to display the flowers. Wow, look at Ezra, he's wrapped. Yeah, he's really into it. Dude, I want a theremin so badly. So, we were talking about him earlier at the gas station. Sure, I haven't forgotten, Cricket. Cool, yeah, I know. Any, what do you think about Ezra traveling with us for a while? We were in the back. Passing messages in code. We used a code of our own design, inscrutable to observers, transmitted by subsonic whistles. We compared strategies for a broken guitar. I'd been staring at it all day, cleaned the whole thing with a toothbrush, doused the battery compartment in WD-40, but it still did this weird chirp out of nowhere every once in a while. I think it still does, actually. I guess we never found a solution. We went on for a little walk to take our minds off of it. If I sound hesitant or something, it's just... When we met, we were nothing, just these little gray shadows. As we grew and filled in, but we did all that together. As Ezra, sure, he's just a kid, but he's already a person. What would that do to our system, our chemistry? We stepped outside into the warm night air. There was a horse tied up in the parking lot. You wanted to go find him some food. We wandered between some low houses and came out onto an empty street. Hey, I got the masters for the new record back from Lazar. They're okay, but What? You listened to them without me? Oh, shit. You were at the arcade. I didn't want to throw off your pinball game. Oh, okay. Anyway, there were a few spots where the strings distorted a little, and the whole thing was way too much reverb, but overall it sounds pretty good. The new drum machine fits right into the mix. Nice. The only question is how to do it live. I can't control the drum machine and sing and dance at the same time, and you've got your hands full of guitar. There was a playground across the street. We found a shoebox by the swing set. You wanted to open it. So did I. So you opened it, and there was that frog. You put him in your pocket, and he traveled with us for 6 months. What a charmer. We got back to the greenhouse just as Clara was tuning up. She relaxed her shoulders, took a deep breath, raised both hands into their precise positions, and the room started shaking. Clara hit a note that made the glass rattle in sympathy, a perfect 2 octaves lower. She looked like a sorceress tearing down the building with an effortless wave and incredible focus, coaxing the empty air into some kind of moaning, rattling demon. That's the thing about the theremin. It's the only instrument you never touch. You could see a wave of concern propagating through the greenhouse. People looking up at the trembling glass ceiling, looking at each other to see if anyone else was worried, trying to catch Clara's eye and discern if she was doing it on purpose or not, if she were really trying to bury us all in glass. So how do you think we'll swing that, playing the drum machine live? We'll figure something out. Maybe glue it to the back of your guitar. Oh, yeah. Or swap the buttons out for foot pedals. Or put the drums on tape beforehand like Cyrano does. Oh, yeah, I guess we have a lot of options. Life is full of possibilities, Cricket. Yes, ma'am. It was a tense 5 minutes. We, the audience. Hey, Viper. Alternated between fearing for our lives and lamenting hers that could have given her the kind of emotional experience to play this devastating song. Then slowly, gently, Clara's hands came to rest. The theremin went quiet, the glass stopped rattling, and the room relaxed, unharmed. Interessant. I met a photographer once. I mean, one in particular. She even took my portrait. I can't imagine why. She said it would immortalize me. That was a metaphor, of course. She'd meant I'd never be forgotten. As she was disembarking, not far from here, actually, the film fell out of her bag and was borne away by the current. I was working on deck at the time. She shot me a sad, apologetic glance, but I wasn't bothered. It's no shame to be forgotten. Our passengers, 2 lighter, disembarked at the mail stop by the silo. They couldn't seem to get that old truck started up again, but we managed to roll it off the barge with only a minor scrape or 2. At the last minute, Clara decided to travel with them for a while. Kate and I said goodbye to our friends, new and old, and the mucky mammoth rumbled on down the echo. Scene 11. Silo of Late Reflections. Is that a jerboa? What's this place like? Dogwood Drive. It's in a small town, or... I really don't know. I've got the manifest the old man had in his truck here. Lizette's Antiques, mail order delivery, no return address, shipping address, 5 Dogwood Drive, packing list. And then it's just numbers. I guess the inventory numbers of the antiques he was supposed to be delivering. Anyway, I'm glad you're coming with us. Yes, I'm always eager to see more of the country, and I enjoy the company. I will have to find a bus or train to get on to Nashville by evening. Well, there are buses everywhere, right? Or, hey, I could drive you to Nashville. Seems I have a truck now, only... How are we going to get it up these stairs? That's quite a staircase. Is there another route, a tunnel or something? No way out but up. I guess we could wait for the mammoth to come back around and take us a little further down, but that won't be until late afternoon. Looks like we're making the rest of this trip on foot. I don't even know what's in there. What if it's too much to carry? No, we've been loading and unloading gear since the stars were young. We're our own roadies, right? We've got expertise. All right, Cricket, let's get this delivery packed and tied into bundles. We're hiking it upstairs. What's in there? Antiques, I guess. Antiques? Yeah, antiques are... It's like junk, but people will pay for it. Oh! Sorry, I guess you'll be taking the bus after all. It's okay. It will be an adventure. Tired? Don't worry, lady. We're almost there. Are we? Are we? End of Act 4. And Act 5 isn't out yet, so we'll all just have to wait and suffer. Slowly. And mournfully, impatiently, I assume. I'm gonna be impatient about it. I have no idea what the estimated release date is on Act 5 either. I started to Google it earlier and then forgot halfway through what I was doing, so... Did they? Interesting. Well, I'll figure that out later.
Weary blues from waiting. Lord, I've been waiting so long. These blues have got me crying. Oh, sweet daddy, please come home. The snow falls round my window, but it can't chill my heart. Lord knows
lucky.
Daddy, please come home.
Night Viper.
Through tears, I watch young lovers as they go strolling by, and of all the things that might have been, God forgive me if I cried. Weary blues from waiting. Lord, I've been waiting so long. These blues have got me crying. Oh, sweet daddy, please